Minister is also a member of the NEC, and many are asking what is going to become of the ANC or South Africa now that Nelson Mandela is gone. Minister, thank you very, very much for being with us and welcome to the program. Minister, good morning to you.
Thank you very much, and good morning to all your viewers.
Minister, it's not news to you that everybody asking that question, now what? Should we be worried? Mandela has gone. What is going to happen to South Africa? Is it a concern that we should even think about or not?
Well, I think we've had this question for many, many years. You'll remember in 1999, when President Mandela announced that he would not stand as president again, many people thought South Africa would collapse and the world would come to an end. And we now know that actually South Africa proceeded very well, that we weathered many storms, and we continued to have the ideals and principles of Mr. Mandela's life reflected in our society. So I think South Africans must be assured that the foundation President Mandela has laid is a foundation that I think cannot be tampered with. And any leader worth their salt, any parliament of South Africa worthy of the name, will seek to continue the traditions that were part of the ideals, the political intentions that President Mandela and his colleagues as leaders brought into South Africa.
Yeah. In terms of the ANC, how are you going to be using the legacy of Madiba to keep his memory alive?
Well, I think what we'll try to do is certainly keep his memory alive. I believe it's a task not just for the ANC or for government, but for the entire society. I hope parents will teach children about the humanity that Mr. Mandela brought into our society, will teach some of the values that he sought to promote with respect to love and care for children. As the ANC, Mr. Mandela will be a leader that we will educate our membership about. We hope we'll write books about him. He'll be part of our political education program. But certainly what we would want is that he doesn't reside only in the history of the ANC, but is part of what ANC members should exhibit in their daily lives and in the work we do as a political organization.
Minister, it's been very heartwarming seeing South Africans and this feeling of reconciliation that has almost gripped us over these last few days since we've heard of the passing of Madiba. It in a way has united us, and there is a sense of reconciliation. However, we always tend to have these moments and then those moments disappear. How are you going to keep that alive? How are we going to move forward with this reconciliation that we have witnessed, that the world has witnessed over these last couple of days?
One of the things that I think is really significant in the past few days since the passing of Dr. Mandela is the manner in which the media has played a role in drawing the people of South Africa together, but also in highlighting the history of South Africa. So many young people have said, I didn't know. It's the first time I hear of this. I'm not aware of the history of this man. So clearly there's an important educational role that all of us need to play. But I think the outpouring of grief, of love for President Mandela, says to us, we need to keep his memory alive.
Yeah.
And I think, those parents who came with children to see the statue yesterday, and the families that came together to queue to sign the book of condolence, as well as those who came to view President Mandela lying in state at the Union buildings. It shouldn't just be an event. It must be something, an experience that influences our lives. Because reconciliation is something that we as a nation must pursue together. We must build communities that work together, communities that respect diversity, communities that support democracy. We must build a nation that loves our Constitution and makes sure that it is a living document for every person in our country, in Africa, and I believe worldwide. South Africa has an example to set, as President Pandor said so wonderfully in her speech at the funeral. South Africa has to set an example. We are reconciled. Now what we must do is show what the meaning of that reconciliation is. How do we live our lives together? How should we together address poverty? How should we together work to eliminate inequality? How should all the sectors and stakeholders work together to create more jobs so that people have a decent livelihood, so that they can have the wonderful smile that we see reflected in our pictures of President Mandela on a daily basis? So back to work, I think, but work with a new spirit, a new ethos, a commitment to really, in service of this wonderful man, begin to work together to build a greater South Africa.
Yeah, I think those are wonderful words, but let's live those words, and I think that legacy certainly must continue in exactly what you have said to us this morning. Minister Naledi Pandor, thank you very much for talking to us. Thank you for joining us, and there you can see that statue that you referred to so beautifully put up at the Union buildings yesterday. Just Madiba spreading his hands and his arms out and just welcoming the whole of South Africa as one nation. And that we can hope is that legacy that we continue to live. So that was the Minister talking to us, and we thank her for her time here.